Welcome to the Michael Singer Podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. People think that the spiritual path is this mystical, otherworldly thing. It's not true. It's very worldly. Why? You have to start from where you're at. It's not some ideal that you make up or somebody convinces you of, but you're still anchored with all the issues that you have, all the problems, the drives, the desires, the fears, the insecurities, etc. They're real. They're there. Those are what are keeping from being spiritual, not some ideal that you have and then trying to achieve it while leaving that stuff down there. True spirituality, deep people understand things like that. When you start, it's like, oh, it's exciting. I'll see lights and go places and astral travel. And boy, I can do neat stuff. Okay? And it's all about your beliefs and your this and that. You're going to find out there's only so far you can go before you hit your head because you're carrying this anchor with you. And it's real. Right? The psyche is real. I mean, it's as real as thoughts can be. And until you work with yourself and raise yourself, it's been said that unless all of you goes, none of you goes. That's not true of the short-term growth. You can get some short-term jump and have an experience and be excited and tell people about it. Oh my God, I saw the light, I saw the light, I saw the light. Okay? But you ain't going to keep seeing the light. You're going to see the darkness. Why? Because you have stuff inside of you that is holding you down. It is not natural stuff. It does not have to be there. It was not there in the beginning, but in the beginning, not necessarily your birth. In the beginning is in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. The beginning is way back there. Adam and Eve type stuff before they ate the apple. It's all real. You are a pure being. You're pure light. Man was created in the image of God. The kingdom is within you. Everything is taught is true. That's who you are. The depth of your being is the greatest thing to walk the face of the earth. Christ has nothing on you. Buddha has nothing on you. And they said so. It sounds like that's blasphemy. No. Christ said, as I sit by the throne of my Father. That's enlightenment. That's not a seat of gold. It's a seat of consciousness. As I sit by the seat of my Father, so you shall sit by my side. And these things which I do, you should do these and even greater things. You're a great being. What's wrong? Until you fix what's wrong, you have no right to try and go somewheres when you're anchored with the issues. And the issues are not complicated. The entire spiritual path is about, it's not about doing and not doing. It's about noticing. Are you capable of noticing what it's like in there? Not what you want it to be like in there. Not what you're afraid. Can you just notice what it is like inside? In most people's case, that is like a foreign language. First of all, where's inside? And who's noticing? And noticing what? Until you can answer those three things, not answer them until you are them, you're not going anywhere. It doesn't matter what you concept and views and opinions and hopes and dreams. They're just thoughts. Real growth is, are you in there? I always ask you, that's a starting position. It's like a pilot about to take off with a checklist. Okay? Are you in there? How do you know? Don't answer that question ever. I am that I am that I am. I know that I know that I know. If I wasn't in here, I wouldn't know you were talking to me. It's just very simple. You know you are in there. Is in there your hand? No. I, in here, see my hand. Is in there the other person who you love so much? No. I'm in here seeing the other person and seeing love. I'm in here, aren't I? How long have you been in there? Were you in there yesterday? You sure? Were you in there when you were 10 years old? When you looked in the mirror when you were 10 years old, did you in there see an image in the mirror? Did it look like it looks now? Wasn't it you looking? You've been in there the whole time. You're in there. So that's the first checklist. Check, I'm in there. 2, what's it like in there? Not what I want it to be like. Not what it's supposed to be like. What is it like in there? That's called noticing. Can you just notice? Because that's your highest state. That's your entire path. And the answer is, of course you can't. Because you don't like what it's like in there, right? And so you're busy in there trying to change things. But we'll get there in a minute, all right? So you're in there, check. Is there an in there? Are there things going on in there? Are there thoughts? Yes or no? Okay? I would like to go to some quantum physicist and say, here's the quantum field. Here's atoms, electrons, neutrons, protons, molecules, DNA. Where are the thoughts? And he or she is going to kind of look at you and say, that's not my field. Go study psychology. Right? They're there. You do have thoughts, do you not? You don't need to prove it. You have thoughts. Do you have emotions? Are you sure? You sure you have emotions? You got these feelings that come up and mess you up. Can they feel good? Can they feel bad? Is this the kind of feeling we're talking about? Tactile feeling? No. You have feelings inside. So there's an in there. Wow, look how fast we're getting there. All right? First, you're in there, noticing that there's an in there. I should send you home. You're practically enlightened. When Christ said the kingdom is within you, that's what's being talked about. There's an in you. It sure don't look like the kingdom to me. Right? But at least we know there's an in there. Who knows there's an in there? Me. I'm the one who notices that there are thoughts. I notice there are emotions. How hard is it for you to notice there are thoughts? I wish it was harder. It's not hard at all, is it? They make themselves known. To who? You. There's a consciousness, an awareness of being that is aware that there are thoughts in there, wherever in there is. We haven't said that, all right? And is aware that there are emotions in there. Then the next question comes up, which is very straightforward. Now that you're noticing, which I told you, most people are not capable of noticing. They're reacting. They're reacting to the thoughts. They're not noticing the thoughts. Obviously, they must have noticed them, but it happens so fast. Like if somebody takes a swing at you or something after comes flying at you, you don't first notice and then do something about it. You do something about it. There's an instinctual reaction. You're doing the same thing inside. Thoughts attack you. They come up and bam, you're reacting. What do I do about this? About this? I don't like this. I like this. You react to your thoughts, and you sure as heck react to your emotions. Have you ever felt like emotions were attacking you? Have you ever tried to make them go away? Do you interact? You in there, right? But you interact defensively. You're doing one of two things in there. Now that you notice means I'm centered, I'm clear, I can just, no, very Zen, I can just notice. Zen talks about just being. How about just noticing? I am aware that this thought came up. Okay? That means there are thoughts, and it means I'm in here. That's the end of it. No, I don't think so. I'm aware that this emotion came up. I'm in here, and I'm aware. Very good. That's not how we live in there. Most people do not live like that in there. The minute the thought comes up, the minute the emotion comes up, there's this reaction. The you in there is not able to handle experiencing what you're experiencing without doing something about it. There's very few thoughts that ever come into your mind that you don't deal with, that you don't think you have to do something about. When you're sitting minding your own business, you look at him and say, what's he thinking about me? Right? You don't just let that go. One reaction is to think about what he's thinking about you. The other is to have an emotional reaction of insecurity. The other is to smile at him so that you can control what he's thinking of you. You're busy doing, are you not? You're busy in there. You're busy as could be, reacting to what's in there. That is your inner world. That's where you live, and that's what's going on. That is the beginning of your spiritual path. If you don't start with that, I'm telling you, you're not going to go anywhere. If I want to go to New York and I'm in Gainesville, I better start with the map in Gainesville, not Atlanta. But Atlanta's closer. I don't care. But I can get better food on the way. I don't care what your mind has to say. You have to start from where you're at. If you don't start from where you're at, you left this gap, and the gap's going to collapse. That gap is what Christ meant by don't build your house on sand. You can't just imagine something because the rest of you is not there. You didn't take you with you. You have to take you with you. If you want to go to New York, you better be in the car. Because even if the car goes there, you ain't going. So I'm stressing this now. Because spiritual people, New Age people, they don't think like this. They say, oh, I just go to God. No, you won't. There's an anchor in there. And you got to deal with it. And that's called spiritual growth. All right. So you're in there. You notice there's stuff in there with you. Thoughts and emotions. Okay? There's something else in there, which most of you out here may have noticed it. There's an energy flow. Not your thought, not an emotion. A thought is something that talks to you or visualizes. It's in your head. You can see it. An emotion comes up from your heart. It's an energy field that doesn't talk, all right? It feels. You feel it. But then there's this flow of energy that sometimes you feel and sometimes you don't. Like you can say my thoughts are bothering me, or boy, I have wonderful thoughts today, or my emotions, they feel so good, or they feel terrible. But sometimes you can say, I have no energy. Or I'm just filled with Shakti. We use the word Shakti in yoga. That's the word for that energy, the inner energy. You have inner energy, don't you? And sometimes it's there, and sometimes it's not there. And sometimes it's so high, you don't know what words to use. And sometimes it's so low that you couldn't talk if you tried. You're too busy crying, too busy messed up. Those are not emotions. I'll explain to you the difference between emotion and the energy flow. They're very close. They're related. Everything's interacting in there. But you have these three things in there. You have thoughts, you have emotions, and you have Shakti. You have energy flow. And you can have lack of energy, or you can have abundance of energy. But the point is, when you're high in energy, do you feel it? How real do you want to talk? I want to feel better. I need something from outside to change my inner state. Do you ever do things outside to make it change your inner state? Of course you do. That's your whole life. That's your whole life. Either something outside makes you feel better inside, something outside makes you feel worse inside. Which one do you want to do? A normal human being, which you do not want to be one of those, all right, is constantly, every moment of their life, attempting to manipulate and control the outside so it feels better inside, or doesn't feel worse. Either way, either non-negative, less negative, or more positive. Every moment. What movie you want to go see? Let me think about which one I think will make me feel better. Well, I don't know. I saw something else that he starred in and I didn't like it. I don't want to go there. Every single thing you're doing. Do you want to marry her? Well, I like when she's like this. What does that mean? When she, this outside object, is behaving which way? The way that my inside likes. I want to marry him. I like him. I want to hang out with him. When the outside object behaves or says a word, it's just a word. The tone of the word makes my inside not feel good or feel good. I need to manipulate the situation so that what's going on out there, when it comes in, makes me feel better. All right, so we started off with the inner, check. Are the thoughts, anything in there with you? Yeah, thoughts and emotions. Okay, check. We got those things, energy. We got that stuff in there, right? Now we're going to talk about how do you like it in there when you're living in there? Well, just like I like it anywhere else, wherever I'm living. I like it to be nice. If I want to go on a vacation, I have to be all screwed up, fires and floods and tornadoes. And no. So you're in there, you live in there, and you have to deal with what it's like in there. And the way you've learned to do that is for the outside world to be a way so that when it comes into me, it makes me feel better. Does it do that? Can it make you feel worse? Can it make you feel really, really good? Can it make you feel really, really bad? Can things happen outside that when they come inside, traumatize you That's a word they use in psychology. What does that mean? It caused it to be so bad inside that it never went away being bad. This is what it means to understand who you are and what's going on. Can that happen? Why? Outside is outside. Let's say you had your eyes closed when the event took place. You didn't even see it. Didn't bother you one iota. But if it got in there, it can cause havoc in there. Yes or no? And you don't like that, do you? Why? Because that's your house. You live in here. Some people sit there and say the body is the house of the soul. Yes, the body, and not just the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, is where you live. And I don't blame you. You want it to be nice in there. Of course you want it to be nice in there. Why would you not want it to be nice in there? You live in a house and it's filled with roaches and rats and pizza crust and spider webs. Who wants to live in there? But if it's clean and nice, you like it. But it's the same thing inside. I'm having a serious talk here, but notice I'm not using the God word, but I really am. I'm sneaking up on you. This, what I'm discussing now, this is a spiritual path. Why? Because if it's not nice inside, I'm telling you how you're going to behave outside. Very manipulative, very controlling, maybe even doing terrible things to try and do something. I did 30 years of prison work in Florida's max security prisons. You know, where death row was and everything. They're in for life, the lifers, the whole thing. They're fine people. They had situations, in most cases, like 99% or whatever percent it is, they had situations that happened in their life that didn't work out so good inside. Either they were feeling terrible, angry, resentful, jealous. What are those? Feelings inside. What's anger? A feeling inside. It's not out there, is it? What's jealousy? A feeling inside. Or whatever. Or their energy was so depressed. What's that? A state of the energy inside. It's all inside. Okay? And therefore they did something reactively, generally, not premeditated normally, but it could be, right? The mind could get into that state. But if even it was premeditated, it was the mind saying, I'm not okay, and this will make me be okay. And I don't care who it hurts. I don't care if it's against the law. I don't care what's going on. I can't handle the state I'm in right now inside. Therefore, I need to do something outside. Do you all understand that? I hope you do. Why? Because that's what the word compassion means. It's very different than sympathy. Compassion means I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not judging it at all. But I understand. Well, how could you understand why someone would kill somebody? They must have had some serious problems inside. They either wanted something, so they did a robbery and somebody got killed, or they were having serious problems and they were resentful against somebody. And when you can understand, but by God's grace, there goes myself, as terrible it is to say that, and you don't like hearing me talk about it, that's compassion. Go study the Dalai Lama. That's how he talks. Even against the Chinese that invaded his country and were killed and burned all the temples. He still talks like that. Why? That's compassion. Why does that matter? It's extreme. But if you can be okay inside, no matter what has happened or is happening outside, you're what is called a great being. You transcended the absurdity that this world outside, God, so many places I want to go, right? Will you come with me? It's not even there. Look at me, just for 1 minute. Go to your physicists. They started with Aristotle. What's out there? Why is it out there? What are the stars? What is a tree? What's an apple? They studied what's out there. They tried to understand what was out, what did it, and what came from. And they look very carefully. And they develop, I'll do it very quickly. I don't want to do all the whole history of physics for you, all right? I would if you'd sit here, and if I could, all right? So basically, they started looking very carefully, and they developed instruments, and they found out it's not what it looks like. There's these molecules. Where? Everywhere's. What's her pretty face? Molecules. What's the wood? Molecules. Now, just so you understand, have you ever, I hope you have, all of you have flat screen TVs. Nowadays, right, CRTs, you have flat screen TVs. Have you ever gotten up close enough to look and see what's really there? You will see dots. They're called pixels. Has anybody ever done it? Okay? They're not people running around and Tom Cruise doing things, right? There's just dots. There's just dots. Wow. Okay? Far out. But that's how it looks like when you step back. I'm telling you, there's just dots out there. That is what physics has found. They started with the bigger dots called molecules that held themselves together as dots, and then they progressed further with microscopes and stuff like that, and they said those molecules are made of something. They're not the base element. There are these atoms. Molecules are made up of atoms. Those, again, the pixels. See it? Smaller and smaller pixels. You get better resolution the more pixels there are. So you look down. Why am I talking about this in spirituality? I said to you, you're reacting to what's out there. There's nothing out there. Stand before a periodic table. I keep one. I never took any exact sciences, right? But there's a big periodic table in my office. I love the thing. Why? It's all there is. All there is a boatload of each one of those atoms. They make the entire universe. All the stars, his shirt, his eyes, your body. No, not my body. Yeah, your body is made out of those tiny little things, isn't it? How can you be upset about an atom? Show me which ones you like on the periodic table and which ones really freak you out. Wake up. Spirituality is not science. It is science. Because what we're talking about is how you're doing in there. But how you're doing in there, we just said, is dependent upon what's going on out there. There is no out there. Ever. There's a bunch of dots. And guess what? And I'll do it very quickly. When they look further into the atoms, atom used to mean the most base element, that's what the word means. They found out, no it's not. It's made of smaller things. Electron, neutron, and protons. Every one of you studied that at school, right? Okay, nucleus with protons and neutrons and then electrons spinning around. That's what makes an atom. And then they bond to each other. Now we're down to nothing. If all that's out there is electrons, neutrons, and protons, what are you getting upset about? Why do you care? Then, and I'm going to close it to this and we'll go back up, right? Nuh-uh. There are not electrons, neutrons, and protons. What's smaller than that? There's a field, call it a field of energy. They don't say what it is. They just call it a quantum field that spreads across the entire universe equally. It's omnipresent everywhere. And when that field, think of it like a lake that's still, when it gets agitated, it creates little wavelets, just like the lake would. Okay? Those wavelets have properties. They're not things. They're just energy. And they have charge and color and spin and different attributes. And due to those attributes, some of them bond together with other wavelets. They interact together. And they give names to the wavelets within the fields. Weird names. There's quarks, leptons, bosons. They just name these things. I'll just go a little further. In quarks, right, what is quark? A wavelet, a type of wavelet of certain properties. It's not there. It's no more than energy. You can't see it. It's just force moving. So they gave names of an up quark, a down quark, a bottom quark, a top quark, a strange quark, and a charm quark. If two up quarks interact with each other, there's a proton. If two down quarks interact together, there's a neutron. An electron is a basic element by itself. So you just have these nothing little wavelets that aren't even there. They're just reactive to a disturbance in the force. I felt the disturbance in the force. That's all that's happening at the quantum field level. Then they put those together and it builds every part of the universe. It's not even there. How can you get upset about a wavelet named charm? Did you hear me? That is quantum physics. That's quantum field theory. There's a thing called a standard model nowadays, and it just lays out the quarks, the leptons, the bosons, how they interact together, everything. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. But you don't see that because your quarks, leptons that make up your eyes, when the consciousness looks out through them, it's like stepping back from the pixel on a TV screen. What happens when you're up there real close? The kids go, Mommy, where'd the picture go? There's nothing. There's just a bunch of dots. Come on, step back, step back, step back. And all of a sudden, there's a movie. That's what you've done. You step back from looking down at what's really there. Is it okay if I talk to you like this? How can you have problems? I started this whole thing by explaining to you, you're in here. You're not out there. The only reason out there even comes in is because you have these things called senses. Sensors. There are sensors. They pick up sound. They pick up light. They pick up touch. They pick up smell. Those are just chemicals in the air, smell. But your sensors picks them up and send the message back to you. Why? So that you can know this is here. It's God's idea of Disney World. I made this whole thing for you. I hope you're having fun. No, I'm not. Why? Just for a moment, go back up close to that screen. I just took you there mentally. There's nothing going on. But I did not live my life that way. I did not. I kept it way back. I stepped back and I saw people, places, things, and male and female, and old and young, and death and birth. None of them exist. Not physiologically. We can talk about the rest some other day. But basically, you got too close. I said you got too close. You got too far away. And it looked like things. It looked like I'm 17, about to go to my high school prom, and I have this zit on my chin. How do you know? I've got this mirror that does 15 times magnification. And I look in it. Why? So that I can get upset. Why else would you look at this stupid thing? Are you hearing me? So your senses are adjusted to see a certain level. Einstein knew all of this. He wasn't just smart in math and that kind of stuff, right? His theories. Einstein made a quote once, I love it, that says, reality is an illusion, although a very persistent one. If those atoms didn't put themselves together the same way, then every time you wake up, it's something new. But it puts itself together. Those wavelets put themselves together the same. Isn't that amazing? They put themselves together the same, so when you wake up, it's still there. And so you get caught in the illusion. It's persistent. And so you step back, and what happened is as follows. You're in here. Let's make believe you're clean. You're just in here, noticing that you're in there. And it's really nice. Something happens outside. The vibration comes in. Somebody yells at you. The vibration comes in, fine, it comes in. You get to experience. That's why you have senses. You are not given senses so you can screw yourself up and be all upset. You're given senses because there's a world out there, kind of. There's this dance going on out there, and God thought it's kind of neat. I'll show you a movie. That's what's being shown. Just every moment you'll get to see something. I love you. You're my children. There's my consciousness in there, by the way. All right? That my consciousness is going to watch the movie that my consciousness created. I go into your dream. And you do a really weird thing. And this is really important you understand. This is the fall from the garden. I don't care what else I tell you. So it's all amazing. Adam and Eve are walking around and things are happening. And there are colors and shapes. And they're experiencing it. Consciousness is experiencing all these experiences. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Then what happened? Something came in. And the consciousness itself got so drawn down to it that it took it personal. It looked at it and said, I don't want to be yelled at. What's yelling? It's just vibrations and energy. They're just vibrations in the air, but they come in, and your consciousness, and this is it. Your consciousness, that is really God consciousness. That's the only one conscious in the universe. But it focuses down and experiences what you're experiencing through your senses. Fine, that's what's supposed to be happening. But it comes in, and for some reason, you got too close, and you didn't like it. What does that mean, I didn't like it? The vibration that came in, it didn't feel good. So what did you do? You resisted it. Who resisted it? You. The indwelling consciousness, the awareness of being who's in there. You resisted it. What does that mean? You pushed it away. With what? There's this stuff called will. Anybody have any will in there? Can you push things away? Can you push things away that you don't like being in there? Can you cling if you like them being in there? Can you do things in there, or are you just consciousness that's aware of things? You are what's called Chit Shakti, conscious energy. Conscious energy. That's what they call God in the Indian scriptures. Chit Shakti. It's just the consciousness and the energy of the universe that is both creating everything. It's all made out of that energy, and it's experiencing everything. It's the same thing. Just like I'll get you back to physics. There's a thing called electromagnetism. Ever heard of it? They didn't know that before. They thought there was electricity and magnetism for a long time. They studied magnetism, they studied electricity. And then all of a sudden, one day, they realized they're the same thing. If you look at it from this angle, it has the properties of magnetism. You look at it from this angle, it has the properties of electricity. They can create each other. You can create electricity out of magnetism. That's a magneto. You can create magnet out of electricity. They're the same. All right? Well, Shakti, energy, the underlying energy that Einstein said is all energy, the energy of creating the universe, and consciousness are the same thing. Now you're getting back to the depth of yoga. It's called Chit Shakti. Chit Shakti, conscious energy. It's not energy, it's not consciousness. They're the same thing, conscious energy. That's what's in there as you. God's conscious energy looking at this, looking through that. Okay? If what comes in, whatever reason, Buddha taught it, like and dislike, the beginning of the whole mess. Somehow you can't handle it. I don't know what to say. It's just part of life coming in through your... It's something on the pixel screen. You step back, it's still just pixels, but you couldn't handle it. The consciousness couldn't let it come in, and so it used its energy to resist it. That is what will is. Will is focused consciousness. When you try to do math in your head, you need to concentrate. What is concentration? Focused consciousness. If I take a magnifying glass and go out to the field where the sun is shining, the sun's shining everywhere. Well, when I put that magnifying glass, there's a fire starting under it because it concentrated the power of the light and it became fire. It burned leaves. Okay? That's what's happening inside. Consciousness, expansive consciousness, is concentrating so deeply that it creates power. Isn't that neat? I'm giving you examples. The power. There's no power when I walk in the sunlight. I'm not getting burned. Normally, it's just sun. It's light. It's light. It's just light. What in the world happens when I magnify it? I concentrate that light to where you see it really is energy. Light is energy. So you're focusing that energy down on a leaf, it's going to catch fire. That is exactly what your willpower is. If you meditate deeply enough, at some point you will see it yourself. It's just open, expansive. But if you want to think, you better concentrate on your thought. If an emotion comes in and goes by in your deep meditation, I don't know if they do or don't, who cares? You're not concentrating on them. If you then have a thought in deep meditation, it will take you out of meditation. Why? Because you have to focus your awareness down like that magnifying glass onto that thought. And if you don't like that thought, you will resist that thought, which is what all the psychology is built on. That's what Freud is. That's what suppression is. That's what repression is. That's what denial is. This thing came in from outside. I experienced it, obviously, or I wouldn't know it was there. And my power, the power of God, the power of consciousness, concentrated on it. Why? It distracted me. It caught my attention. Let's say some emotion of fear comes up in you. Does it distract you from what you're doing at the moment? You focused on it. And in doing so, you resisted it. Anything you focus on, your will comes focused down. And what you tend to do is push it away. I don't like what you said. You will not talk to me like that. I guarantee you that the person who is talking and you who push that away, the next time you see that person, you will not feel the same as you felt before they talked to you that way. 3 years later, high school reunion, 20 years later, why, you kept it. Kept what? This nothing, these dots, these little wavelets that came in, and I resisted them. Anything you resist is still in there. Even the littlest thing. Go to Hawaii and have it be 105 degrees for whatever reason. You don't like Hawaii anymore. And if somebody years later, somebody proposes to you and go on a honeymoon, I want to go to Hawaii. No, I don't want to go to Hawaii. It's hot there. Once, 2 days it was hot. You now know all about Hawaii. You know what they teach you? And they're wrong. First impressions are the most important thing. Are you kidding me? I'm going to meet him after his father died and he ate bad pizza the night before. And he is not in a good mood and he is not behaving in a very reasonable way. 3 years later, you want to see George? Nah, I've already met him. I know what he's like. And you do it all the time. Every single thing with everything. Go to Arizona and have a rattlesnake cross the road. I ain't moving here. There's snakes here. There's snakes everywhere. Just because you happen to see a snake. Is it rational? No. Is it absurd? Yes. Is it screwing your life up? Completely. So these impressions come in and you have the ability to resist. I don't want to have seen that snake. But you did. But I don't want to have. I'm in a state of denial. I never saw a snake in my entire life. That's the whole layer of psychology. Take a breath. This is a spiritual discussion. Way more than the light and the angels. Why? This is why you're not with God. Not try to understand something about God. So you have resisted stuff that came in through your senses. And you stored it in there. And what'd you do with it then? I played with it. What do you mean you played with it? I took this part that I didn't like and that part that I did like, and I glued them together, and I developed this concept of myself. I'm the person that likes this. How do you know? Because I had the experience. At that moment, it could have been different. Anything. Then I had this experience, and I didn't like it. And I put them all together, and I built a me. Is it you? No, it's not you. You're the one that had the experience. You're the one who resisted the experience. You built this thing called ego. That's what you did in there with the stuff that you resisted. How do you know I resisted it? Because if you didn't resist it, it wouldn't be in there anymore. It could be in your long-term memory. You can bring it back. Like a computer has a long-term memory. But the computer doesn't pop that stuff up by itself, but not inside of you. The stuff comes up by itself, doesn't it? Can things that happened 20 years ago bother you now? Can emotions come back up? That's what it's like to live in there. Now you can't live in there. There's a mess in there. But you have a solution. I'm not stupid. If that which is coming in from the outside is what I decided I want to come in from the outside, I am happy as can be. I'm the happiest camper that ever lived. And if what's coming from the outside is what I really don't want coming in, I'm depressed and I'm unhappy and I'm miserable. Well, what's the solution? Control the pixels, control the wavelets, the weather, what people say. Oh my God, it's so complicated. They're playing 16,000 dimension chess. So you're sitting there saying the way to be okay in here is to go out there and manipulate the outside so that there is no one out there yelling at you. So everyone out there says, oh my God, I love you so much. You're so beautiful. Oh, you're more beautiful than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I like that. Look like you gained some weight. How dare you talk to me like that? Every single thing that comes in from the outside hits the stuff you stored inside. And it either makes you feel good inside, makes you feel bad inside. And they all teach you. Get the world the way you want it. Decide what you want and go make it happen. How? Anything, any way you want. There's anything you can. Have you noticed that some people try to get things the way they want? Right? Have you noticed some people really react when things aren't the way they want and they try to make them be the way they want? That includes you? Okay. Wow. That's not very spiritual. That's the fall from the garden, guys. What happened when you ate of the tree of self-knowledge, meaning I've now identified with the world as part of myself instead of just something I'm in here experiencing. I said it's mine, my car, my child, my face, my body, my life, you understand that? That the I, me, mine thing is what the ego built. That's what you built in there. And now you're staring at it. You stare at it to where your entire life is about you. So if I say that, you say, well, of course it's about me. What are you talking about? There's stars, there's galaxies, there's billions of, there's atoms. Oh my God, there's so much. No, it's about me. All of them are about me. If I sit there and teach, by the way, that there's nothing out there but galaxies and quantum field and all that kind of stuff, right? When I used to teach Santa Fe way back a long time ago, I taught night classes to people coming back to school, but I still teach the same thing. Back in 72, 74, something, 75, I had someone come up to me. He said, I'm coming back to get a degree, an AA degree, and I have a family. I don't understand what any of this stuff has to do with me. I will never forget. That turns me on. Well, of course, there's nothing to do with you. The atoms and the things and all the people and psychology. And there's nothing to do with you. No, it has to do with you is what's putting food on the table, what I like, what I don't like, my family. Do you understand that? In other words, your consciousness, you would live in there, who's God. It expanded the entire universe. That's who you are living in there. You're staring at your ego so much that everything that comes in only has to do with you. It does not. Whereas an enlightened being, that's exactly what enlightenment means, is they're not staring at themselves. Christ said you must die to be reborn. You have to die of this personal self that you built in there, this concept that what it's about is me, so that everything that comes in, either I like it, I don't like it, and I'm supposed to be out there making it be the way I want, etc., as opposed to there's a different solution. If you're not okay with what's going on in the world outside, why don't you take a look at who's not okay? Somebody's in a bad mood, their father died, they had pizza wrong, and they're not behaving very nicely around you. Well, there's two possible solutions. One, hit them, run away, do something, fight or flight, right? Or take a look inside. See what it is that it is bothering, and question, why is this person's problem bothering me? I'm not this person. I have my problems. He has his problems. Is that okay? You better say yes. Why? Because it's reality. It's reality. People have stuff just like you do. But it's not the same stuff as yours, is it? They're the sum of the learned experiences, everything they held in there. Therefore, they're going to be completely different than you. I told you, one of the biggest jokes in the world is when you say, how could you do that? I would never have done that. I can't believe you did that. Well, you haven't had the experience I had. You didn't build the ego I have. You don't have the self-concept I have. You don't have anything even close to me. So what right do you have to judge me? What does Christ say? Judge not that you shall not be judged. What does the third Zen patriarch teach? Cease the burdensome process of judging. Do you see how it all ties together? It's all because you fell from your seat of divine consciousness by resisting and controlling and building this ego, this mindset that you have in there, then deciding it's who you are, that's who I am, and then going out there and trying to manipulate everything outside. That's why there's war, that's why people do terrible things. At some point you understand why every single thing is the way it is. What do you do about it? I have a few minutes left. The path itself is simple. How you doing in there? How do you want to do in there? I'd like it to be nice. I'd like to feel love. When? All the time. No, you can only feel love if you find just the right person who behaves just the way you want them to, all the time you want them to do it. No, I don't want to live like that. If I'm capable of feeling love, and I am, I have to look and see, why don't I feel love? Because you're sitting there judging everything, because you're sitting there wanting everything to be exactly the way your ego says. You can only feel love when ego says you can. I'm going to challenge you. You can only feel love when your ego says you can. What do you mean? Well, my uncle used to slurp soup, and I really, really didn't like it at all. And I'm dating this person. I really liked him. But, oh, my God, I didn't know this slurp soup. I don't know anything to do with him. But you felt love before. That made you not feel love? Yes. Well, what if you decide that what your life is about is not getting everything the way your ego that you built in there wants, but it's about getting rid of that thing? I want to feel love unconditionally. I want to love you as much if you were in a bad mood and you came back and were a schnook when you came home. I want to love you the same. I don't care. But I don't make believe I love you. I want to actually love you. Then you have to look and see that when the world comes in, and we call it hit your stuff. You got stuff in there? When the world comes in, hit your stuff, you have to decide. Do I want to blame the world, push it away, yell at it, fight with it, never happen again, or get rid of my stuff? Can you? The only reason it stays in there is because you held it in there. There's nothing solid in there. There's nothing solid in there. All there is your will. And your will made things solid by fighting the energy and pushing it away. If you are willing, here's your will for something meaningful, to let go of what you stored in there from the past, you can unconditionally be fine in there, because that is your natural state. Unconditional love, unconditional well-being. We're talking about the energy in there. You're going to see the energy flow is conditional upon your thoughts. You can think a thought and feel energy. You can think a thought and feel no energy, get depressed instantaneously. So your thoughts and your emotions are blocking your energy flow. The more you let go of yourself, the more you are willing to sit there and say, this bothered me, I don't want it to bother me. Not, I don't want it to happen. Reality always wins. You can't undo reality. It happened. Okay, accept it. Now you get to acceptance, surrender. These are the deep inner words. And you start practicing. It won't happen all at once. You start practicing. It's raining out. I don't like it. You don't have to not like it. But I don't like it. That's because it rained on your birthday and your cake melted when you were 5. You stored stuff in there. Otherwise, the farmer loves the rain. Can you love the rain? Can you hate the rain? You're deciding everything in there. And so you start doing what's called work on yourself. How? If it bothers me, I'm going to let go of why it bothers me, instead of trying to make it so it never happens. Imagine how good your relationship would be if instead of people bothering you, you sit there and say, well, it bothered me, and I don't want it to bother me. Can you? Yeah, start letting go. Just, like I said, to me, one word I learned through all 55 years of my growth, right? Relax. That's the word. That's the highest spiritual word you'll ever hear. What do you mean? It came in, it hit my stuff, I started to tense and fight and resist. Relax. How do I do that? Relax. Go into an asana and feel it get tense. The teacher will tell you, just relax. Relax into it. Relax. Let it pass. But no buts. You want to feel love all the time? Let go. You want to feel peace all the time? Let go. And what happens? All of a sudden, this energy that I said you had, that was being messed up and conditioned upon your thoughts and emotions, is no longer conditioned upon your thoughts and emotions. And all of a sudden, all this energy starts flowing inside of you. And it always flows up, not down. It used to flow down to manipulate and control. Now it's starting to flow up. It's called Shakti, spirit. It starts flowing up. And it's intoxicating. It's beautiful. Now we're ready for God. Now we can use the word, because now you experience God. It's not a philosophy. It's an experience. You feel the spirit. You feel the Shakti flowing inside of you. Okay, that's nice, but can it get more? Let go more. Well, what if something really bad happens? Good. It's a wonderful opportunity to find about letting go of big things. You always let go first. Always. And the Shakti gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until eventually it never changes direction. It will not go back down, period. And it's always lifting you, raising you. What did Christ say? Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of God. That's the Shakti. In other words, you're not living off what's happening outside. You're living off what's happening inside. And you're all capable of it, except you're playing around with your stuff. There. We had a spiritual discussion. You can do this. You just step by step, play with it, let go, have fun, make it a video game inside. I can handle this. I can handle this. Every single thing. I can handle this. If you can handle it, you let it go. All right. We're going to work on ourselves. And some people say, but isn't that selfish to only be working on yourself? No, I don't think so. I think if you get yourself together and you're much nicer to everybody around you, you raise the whole world with you. Don't you? All right. Jai Guru.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.